NBC host Kristen Welker absolutely loses it after JD Vance dismantles her on live TV.
NBC's Kristen Welker found herself in a tense live TV exchange with Senator JD Vance that quickly spiraled into a viral moment. During the heated interview, Vance took charge, dismantling her questions with a bold and direct approach. As Welker attempted to steer the conversation, Vance's relentless counterpoints left her visibly flustered. The clash captivated audiences, sparking widespread discussion about the confrontation and how Vance's sharp responses stole the spotlight. Now this was a showdown that nobody expected.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to talk to you about the immunity ruling and the implications. This is what Donald Trump said last year about wanting to target his political opponents.
Welker's struggle continued as she questioned Senator JD Vance about Donald Trump's pledge to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Joe Biden if re-elected. She played a clip of Trump promising to go after the Biden crime family and asked if Vance, as vice president, would support such a move. Vance responded by calling out the media and Democrats for their reactions to Trump's words. He pointed out the irony, stating that Joe Biden has already been targeted political opponents in similar ways over the past few years, making Trump's proposal no different from current practices.
I think what Donald Trump is simply saying is we ought to investigate the prior administration. There are obviously many instances of wrongdoing. The House Oversight Committee has identified a number of corrupt business transactions.
As the conversation progressed, Donald Trump made the case that it's only fair to investigate the prior administration, pointing out multiple instances of possible misconduct. The House Oversight Committee has already identified questionable business deals that could be criminal, and Trump believes that it's reasonable to dig deeper. JD Vance backed this, saying that if Trump's push to investigate seems like a threat to democracy, then what President Biden has done goes much further. Vance implied that Biden's actions pose an even bigger risk to our legal system and government structure.
Senator, just to be very clear, though, Joe Biden didn't appoint a special prosecutor. The attorney general did that. Trump was indicted by grand juries. He was found guilty by a jury.
In response to Welker's challenge, Vance made it clear that he fully supports investigating any alleged misconduct by previous administrations, emphasizing that it's essential for maintaining law and order. When NBC host Welker pointed out that President Joe Biden didn't personally appoint the special prosecutor, Vance was quick to counter. He highlighted that while Biden didn't directly make the appointment, he did appoint Attorney General Merrick Garland, who ultimately answers to him and can be dismissed at any time. Vance argued that this indirect connection makes Biden more involved than some might think. He criticized the notion that Biden's administration is completely detached from the process, suggesting that it reflects a misunderstanding of how the U.S. government operates. Vance's stance underscores his belief in holding political figures accountable, regardless of their position or power. The senator's response certainly raises questions about how much influence administrations have over legal investigations.
That happens all the time. People are appointed from Washington, but the DOJ told Congress, testified this week
Kristen,
that it reviewed
it happens.
Hold on, Senator,
are you really
finish.
saying, Kristen?
Senator, let me finish my sentence, then I'll let you finish.
The conversation took another turn as Vance criticized the ongoing investigations into Donald Trump, arguing that they've repeatedly faltered because from his perspective, Trump is innocent. Vance pointed out that similar issues are common in Washington, but noted that recent DOJ testimonies to Congress revealed no interaction between federal prosecutors in the New York case involving Trump since Biden administration began. Despite this, Vance took issue with Welker's focus on Biden's supposed misuse of the DOJ, asserting that if it's wrong for Biden to weaponize the justice system, then the same standard should apply universally.
There has been a lot of discussion about Donald Trump's plans for mass deportation.
Yeah.
According to one estimate, more than 11 million U.S. citizens.
The heated exchange continued when Welker raised a critical question about Donald Trump's plan for mass deportation, highlighting that over 11 million U.S. citizens live in households with mixed immigration status, including 5 million kids. When asked if families would be separated as part of the effort, Vance quickly turned the focus to what he claimed was a real issue: 25 million illegal aliens in the country due to Kamala Harris's inaction. When Welker challenged this number, Vance doubled down, blended in past and present figures to support his argument. Now, his discussion wasn't just about statistics. He felt it was about the human cost and the ethical implications of such a drastic policy.
And as you know, President Biden passed a series of executive actions, and illegal border crossings are now at their lowest levels in about 5 years, so much so that Greg Abbott is no longer busing people.
Even though he failed to answer the question about them kids. Welker's challenge didn't stop there. She pointed out that President Biden's recent executive actions have slashed illegal border crossings to their lowest levels in 5 years. She noted that even Greg Abbott has stopped sending immigrants to other cities. With that backdrop, she added a passing question. If mass deportations were on the table, would families be torn apart? Vance's response to this critical issue was awaited as Welker sought clarity on the impact of potential deportation policies on families, especially with the current drop in border crossings. While the Biden administration's efforts are showing results, the impact on family unity during mass deportations is still a pressing issue that demands clarity.
Well, look, the question, I'm not going to repeat that question because it's kind of insulting to our president. So I'll repeat the ones that aren't insulting to our president. Look, here's the answer.
In a separate moment, JD Vance didn't hold back, calling out the repeated disrespectful questions about Trump. He made it clear Trump's primary victories prove that he's got every right to run his campaign on his terms. Now, Vance didn't just defend Trump. He drew a stark contrast between Trump's successes and Kamala Harris's tenure, which he argues was led to global turmoil and domestic issues like high grocery prices and the housing costs. Vance's point was simple. It's about showcasing Trump's achievements against the current administration's struggles.
President Trump, the reason people love him is because he's his own man, he's unfiltered, and he lets the American people see who he is. And I will say,
his defense of the former president continued as he highlighted Trump's unfiltered, authentic approach. Vance argued that Trump's genuine demeanor is what really connects with people, contrasting it with the polished, scripted behavior of many politicians. He made it clear that Trump's straightforwardness, even if it sometimes offends people, is seen as a refreshing change. Vance emphasized that Americans appreciate a leader who shows his true self rather than hiding behind teleprompters and prepackaged statements. For Vance, Trump's willingness to be himself unapologetically and transparently is what sets him apart and draws people to him.
And staying with the race for the White House, several themes have been consistent with the Trump campaign, including targeting migrants, questioning Vice President Kamala Harris' racial identity, and yes, courting controversy.
As controversies surrounding Trump's campaign continued, a 2021 podcast episode resurfaced, showing JD Vance's vehement criticism of women, feminists, and immigrants. Vance argued that professional women who choose careers over having kids are setting themselves up for misery. He also took a shot at feminists, saying that they were stifling American masculinity. His comments stirred up a lot of backlash and a ton of controversy.
JD Vance even defended the visit despite the Army issuing a statement against political activities on cemetery grounds.
Further complicating the campaign, Vance's defense of his visit to Arlington Cemetery, despite the Army's clear prohibition on political activities there, has also stirred some controversy. Vance criticized the media for turning a minor dispute into a major story. Instead, he tried to spin it and claimed that veterans are more concerned about serious issues like Kamala Harris's VP nominee's alleged dishonesty about military service. As Trump and Vance grapple with criticisms of their alienation of women and veterans, their campaign struggles to gain ground. Coming up on Election Day, their tactics appear to be more of a liability than an asset, while Harris's campaign continues to gain momentum in the polls. So what are your thoughts on all this? Make sure you let us know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next episode.